Welcome back to Trentino for the MXGP of Trentino here at Pietro Marata. We are about, what, 10 miles or so, 15k from the town of Arco on the shores of Lake Garda. Beautiful part of the world here. And, well, in terms of Italian Grand Prix in Italy, you're here for about the 35th time, 9 of which have been taking place here at Arco. And we've had 10 different winners. Tony Cairoli and Jeffrey Hurlings are the only 3-time winners, and one of those could possibly make it the 4th, but do not rule out the challenge from the likes of Clément de Sal, Romain Fevre, even the Jerry Man. What about Tim Geiser? There's a whole host of riders in which to choose from that can make this one and spark this one into life. It's round 4 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. It's the MXGP of Trentino here at Pietro Marata. We've got a packed house, as always, and who can remember, who can forget what happened 12 months ago here when Tony Cairoli absolutely decimated the opposition in race 2 to secure a home victory. The atmosphere really starting to build ahead of MXGP Race 1. The Slovenians have crossed the border. The Tim Geiser fan club are there on the inside of turn 4, between turn 3 and 4, just as they always are. They're camped out there pretty much making a lot of noise. The Italians are on the hill, but I'm sure there are a whole bunch of Dutch fans in here as well. But before we go any further, let's take a quick look behind the scenes at Honda Red Motor Asamoto.
Pedalboarding, I was good. Have you seen? I was standing and pedaling so good. No, of course it was. It's not easy. It's something new to try, and yeah, it was quite wavy. So waves was very hard to keep the balance there, but it's fun actually. I would like to try again when there is not so big waves. Then I think it would be much easier to pedal.
Well, it's my first year in MXGP and the level is quite tough, so it's been good. It's been changed, definitely changing from 250 to 450, but I'm just trying to get slowly back into shape, and I missed almost all last season due to injuries, so I'm just taking my time and trying to get back to speed.
Well, team owner Alfredo Babalacqua says this year we completely changed the team, and we've now got 2 new riders. Arminas has already ridden 1 season in 450, so we've already seen what he can do. Petrov, though, he's coming in from the 250 class, and he's growing quickly. Unfortunately, he broke a collarbone, so he's recovering from that physically. But anyway, they're different riders, they require different settings, and that allows them to improve also the team's skills.
Ci serve per aumentare ancora l'esperienza della squadra.
My winter was not easy part of it because I've been injured, and then I came back and new team and everything, and I came to the season not so ready. Also my physical is not ready, but I mean we made good progress, but we're still making it.
I think trying to get back where I should be and where I was before I get injured. You have in MXGP, I don't know, like 12, 13 guys that can be on the podium, so it's nice, but it's not that easy. I mean, if you have a bad start, you pretty much stay there because everybody at front is good and know how to ride and have a lot of experience, so it's not that simple. It's been tough, but the team has been working hard, and they understand the sport, and they know what it takes, so we've been working slowly, and we're making progress.
The relationship with the team and Peter is, yeah, it's good. It's in the track. He's my teammate, but we are racing for each other, so that's normal off the track. For me, it's not a problem, you know. He's my friend, and we are cool with it.
A livello di classifica
we don't care about final results. Our objective was to start with new riders, and we've already shown our progress since the beginning of the season. Oops, no power. Right, let's go down to the grid. Here's Lisa with Clément de Sal, but before that, Tim Geiser.
I'm just on the start of the first MXGP race of the day. Now, I want to speak to Tim Geiser. It's been a pretty tough start to the season. Tim, difficult pre-season for you with the injury. I know you struggled a bit in Spain and Valkenswaard and went upside down here in the first turn in qualifying. Firstly, are you okay? And just tell us what happened.
Yes, I'm feeling okay. I didn't have the best jump from the gate, and then they closed me, so we came together in first turn, and then I crashed. So I start that last, and yeah, I fight back to get the best gate pick that I can for today's races. So I think start's going to be really important. So try to take 2 good starts, and then also to find some nice smooth lines.
But also on a positive, I mean, this is like almost like a home GP for you. It's so close to where you're from. You've got your fans here coming to support you, and they're going to give you that confidence boost that you need right now.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's always when I pass that corner over there, you can hear them, and it gives you some extra motivation for sure. So I want to do well here, yeah.
Best of luck. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to speak now to Monster Energy Kawasaki Racing's team, Clément de Sal. Clément, you were third here in 2014. You've had a few top 5 finishes. Good job in qualifying yesterday. This is a good track for you, isn't it?
Yes, I like the place. It was a good day yesterday. The start helped a lot in the qualification, and I finished third. It's really good enough for Saturday. And we'll try to have a good start because it's so important here.
Yeah.
This track is really difficult to overpass, and so that will be really important to have good start and try to be consistent during the moto.
Currently, you're third in the championship standings. You've been consistent so far. Everyone's saying that Tony and Jeffrey are on another level. As a rider, what's your point of view? I mean, do they have that extra mile?
Yes, it's true. They're really fast, and we see they're a bit more fast, let's say, than the rest of the group for the moment. But I know what I can do, and I will battle to be really on the top now. And you know, it was like sandy track we had till the moment. Now we go back a bit more on hard pack, so yeah, it's good. It's good for me, all those things. So I'm happy.
Have a great race. Thanks, Clément. Good luck to all the guys here. It's time for the MXGP Race 1.
Jeffrey Hurlings then led out the riders for their sighting lap just a few moments ago. I think they're all back now, but he's doing that because he won the qualifying race. We'll see the highlights in just a moment, but before we go anywhere, let's take a quick look at the championship as we arrive here in Trentino. Tony Cairoli has the red plate, but he's tied on points with his teammate Jeffrey Hurlings. They've both won 3 motos and both had 3 second-place finishes. But it's Cairoli, who was victorious in the second race last time out in Spain, that holds the red plate. De Sal, Vevra and Paulin are your top 5, with Koldenhoff, Van Horbik, Nagel, Siwa and Lieber the top 10. Here's what happened in the MXGP qualifying race on Saturday. Tim Geiser got squeezed going through the turn by De Sal and then ended up clipping the Belgian's rear wheel. Went upside down in turn 1, took a few guys with him as well. Meanwhile, turn 2, Cairoli fenced his teammate to the outside, but then Hurlings retaliated in the very next turn. Was quick to react before his other teammate, Koldenhoff, found a way through, which he didn't. And also De Sal was muscling alongside Cairoli. Cairoli eventually got himself in the second, but went after his teammate Hurlings. Hurlings was starting to disappear, though, at the head of the field. It was a hard, slick, dry, loose racetrack yesterday. Geiser was plugging away. He came through the field as best he could for Team HRC after picking himself up, and he was making rapid progress through the field. Not a lot was going on in the first 6 places. In fact, their positions stayed the same. One of the guys to drop out was Kevin Strybos on the standing construct KTM. He limped out of the race on lap 3 from 22nd position. AJ, Arminas Jasikonis and Sean Simpson battled over 11th for the entire moto. Jasikonis won out on that one, though, on the Honda Asamoto red motor machine. Hurlings distanced himself from his rivals, though. Cairoli was a lonely figure in second, DeSalle third, Paulin fourth, Koldenoff fifth, Van Horbik sixth. It was only Romain Febvre making any kind of inroads. He made one pass on Maxime Dupre on lap 5 to get himself into 7th place early on in the race, as Tim Geiser caught the 152 of Petar Petrov and the 17 of Boutron. Those two passes netted him 17th by the time the checkered flag fell, just behind Ken de Dijker on the Boss Project KTM. But it was Jeffrey Hurlings, though, who was a qualifying race winner for the first time since Assen 2017, his first qualifying win of the season as well. And it's the Red Bull KTM rider that goes to the line first here today. Tony Cairoli lines up alongside, well, not alongside him, but he'll go to the line next. And then, of course, it'll be Clément DeSalle. Let's take a look at the list of riders now as they prepare to go to the grid. You see Jeffrey Hurlings already making his way to the line ahead of his Red Bull teammate Tony Cairoli. DeSalle's Monster Energy Kawasaki, Paulin's Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, Koldenoff, Van Horbik on the Monster Energy Yamaha ahead of his teammate Romain Febvre, and the Geben van Venrooy Kawasaki of Maxime Dupre, the Wilvo Yamaha of Siwa, and Julian Lieber. AJ goes to line 11th for Honda Red Motor Asamotor. Then Simpson, Benoit Paturel back this weekend for Marchetti Racing Team KTM. Bobryshev, Lupino, de Dijker, Geiser, Boutron and Petrov, with Stefano Pizzuto going to the line in 20th place. But we're just moments away from MXGP Race 1 here, round 4 of the FI Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Trentino. Jeffrey Hurlings takes his place behind the gate then here at the 4th round of the FI Motocross World Championship. He goes to the line first here at the MXGP of Trentino. There's his teammate, Tony Cairoli. He went to the line second. Back in 2013, it was Cairoli took his 57th career victory here in perfect fashion. Took a double moto victory that day. He was a winner for the 79th time here last year as well. And but this weekend he arrives here tied on points, but he does have the red plate to the front of that Red Bull KTM. What will that guy say, though? Romain Febvre, he was looking good in practice and time training yesterday. He was efficient enough in the qualifying race. If he gets a good start, we could also see him mount a threat. We spoke to Clément DeSalle moments ago as well. He prefers the hard pack to the soft track. The first 3 rounds have all been soft and sandy or of a soft nature. So he will be rubbing his hands at the prospect of having a great Grand Prix here this weekend. There's Gauthier Paulin. Got 3rd here in 2013. But Clément DeSalle was victorious here in 2014. Nagel won here in 2015. There's the Jerryman, Jeremy Van Horbik. He was 2nd behind DeSalle in what was a Belgian 1-2-3 actually 3 years ago, with Strybos running out the podium that day. And there is Tim Geiser, 2nd last year despite winning the 2nd moto. What can he do today? He was on the podium as well in 16 with a 3rd place. There's Sean Simpson, the Wilvo Yamaha rider. Knows it's a difficult place to overtake here at Trentino, but he'll be doing all he can to make sure that he gets as many points as possible. But Clément DeSalle could be a dark horse on that Monster Energy Kawasaki. Moments away then from the first gate drop of the MXGP of Trentino here for the MXGP class. Gauthier Paulin, Tony Cairoli lined up side by side, getting ready for this one. 30 minutes plus 2 laps, the MXGP of Trentino here at Pietra Marata. It was a sensational Grand Prix here 12 months ago. And if we get Jeffrey Hurlings out of the gate here in Moto number 1, then, well, is it going to be him walking away like he did in the qualifying race yesterday? This is Italy. It's Tony's backyard. Is there going to be a sting in the tail for this one? Yes or no? It's all about that foxhole shot, though. Who will it be? Cairoli's taken 5 out of the 6 so far this year. Febvre is the only other rider to grab a foxhole shot. Down the start straight they go, and a little bit of bar banging going on, and it's going to be Hurlings with a foxhole shot. So he gets the same start as he did yesterday, pretty much, and he leads Romain Febvre and Clément DeSalle, Cairoli, Geiser, and Benoit Paturel there, number 6, then Lieber, then Siwa, and Koldenoff is parked back there as well. but it's Hurlings, 84, who leads the way. Fevre's got himself into second on that blue Yamaha. DeSalle on the green Kawasaki, then in yellow. Tim Geiser is in fourth place. Then Cairoli, then Paturel, then Koldenoff as they drop downhill for the first time. A nervous look over the shoulder there from Hurlings as he came out of turn 7, that right-hand 180 switch, and landing on the brakes there, Fevre almost gets himself into trouble, almost opens the door for DeSalle. Needs to be careful with the Belgian there, ready to pounce even in the early stages of this race. A difficult place to come to, a difficult place to overtake. And if you're not switched on and tuned in on the opening lap here, you could be losing positions, and Fevre doing just that. He got caught on the inside. The momentum belonged to the 25 at DeSalle. He goes past the French former world champion and gets himself into second. A slight bobble coming out of turn 12 for Jeffrey Hurlings as he heads uphill. There's Geiser. Cairoli, where's Cairoli gone? He was just behind those guys in fifth place. I think Benoit Paturel may have just found his way past Cairoli. In fact, Cairoli losing 2 or 3 positions on the opening lap here, because C was also gone through, and also Glenn Koldenoff. So the 222 is on the ropes already on the opening lap. Is he looking down at the left side of his bike? I wonder if he's been hit and has got a damaged gear lever, because he's definitely looking down, or has he got has he had a front wheel through the spokes? He's definitely signalling to the work crew. He's going to turn left here, Tony Cairoli, or is he? Thought he was going to go straight in the pit lane. No, he's got front end issues. Shaking his head, Tony Cairoli. So drama here in the early stages of MXGP Race 1. But it's Hurlings who leads. DeSalle by just under 2 seconds, and Cairoli looking to try and get acclimatized to that front end, whatever the situation is. Doesn't feel comfortable with it. Not the start that he needed. There's Hurlings out of sight. There's DeSalle, Fevre, Geiser. Then in the background there, 222, Tony Cairoli. We've seen him ride with front end issues before. In Ireland, when he was in MX2 on the Yamaha, the thing almost fell out. It was that buckled, but he managed to get the job done there. We've seen it at Valkenswaard a couple of years ago. But this one here, it's right on the very first lap. Whatever the issue is, he's not comfortable with it, but he's going to have to ride through it. And that's exactly what he does. He gets on a turn of speed coming out of that tight turn in the background. He puts a squeeze on his teammate, Glenn Koldenoff. Koldenoff knows that Cairoli is there. And the Sicilian is through. But the 259 tried to offer some resistance on the exit of that turn. Right, Cairoli then, all of a sudden thinking, right, maybe the issue isn't so bad after all. Got no choice but just to get on with the job. Needs the points. Hurlings, his teammate, and the rider tied with him in the points chase at the top of the MXGP standings, is starting to disappear at the head of the field. He was almost 2 seconds clear with the fastest lap of 1:48.666 at the end of lap 1. Hurlings goes through, and it's DeSalle with the fastest lap this time around, 47.9. Those two separated by 1.5 seconds. Then we've got Fevre and Geiser. That's these two here on screen. 3rd and 4th for Monster Energy Yamaha and Team HRC. DeSalle was confident, wasn't he? He said he was happy with his 3rd in qualifying yesterday, and he prefers the hard pack to the sand, and he's got the bullet number 84 right there in his sight. So are we going to see a first race victory of the year for the 25, and the first non-KTM victory for Clement DeSalle and Kawasaki? Well, there's still 25.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Atmosphere really starting to build here. Cairoli buried down in 7th position, just behind the Wilvo Yamaha of Jeremy Seawer and the Marchetti Racing Team KTM of Benoit Paturel, back in MXGP, having finally secured a ride for 2018. Koldenoff is 8th, Lieber 9, Portland Rockstar Energy Husqvarna is 10, Simpson's Wilvo Yamaha is 11, ahead of the Gebben Van Venrooy Kawasaki of Maxim Dupre, the TM of Max Nagel, Jeremy Van Horbig, Alessandro Lupino, Evgeny Bobryshev, Ivan Monticelli on the iFly JK Racing Yamaha, Jasikonis, Pizzuto and Leot on the A1M Husqvarna. They are your top 20 at the moment. Strybos outside of the points in 21st position, ahead of Petrov, Graham Irwin. Jose Boutron is in 26th place. De Dijker hasn't done a lap. So the gap between these two was 1.5 seconds a moment ago when they crossed the line. But Cairoli not looking like his usual self. He's going to have to ride around whatever the issue is, and the thing definitely bouncing around at the bottom of the hill there. Cairoli riding rodeo. But the body language from him at the start of the race, the opening lap, looking down, wasn't sure if it was a gear lever, then it became apparent that it was a front end issue. Was it a tyre? Was it spokes? Was it somebody's foot peg gone through the rear wheel? Maybe just the difference between the ground, between the warm-up session and then the race. Maybe a little bit wetter and then slick, and just feeling like it was just a little bit unstable. Who knows? Could be a million things, but he's got to get on with it. Here's the 6 of Paturel, the 91 of Siwa, and Cairoli jumping short in the turn that he made his own last year. Great to see Paturel back in the paddock. Seems like he's been off all winter. Right, there's Coldenhoff, but top corner. Siwa looked to nod down the inside there of the 6 of Paturel. Couldn't quite go through. The outside line here is definitely quicker, but then it tightens up, and then maybe you get some kind of run around the outside there, just as Cairoli did. This time looking to switch it around the outside of the Wilvo Yamaha at the bottom of the hill here. The slowest corner on the racetrack. Short, sharp, steep descent. This one a little bit more open. Turn 15. Wind starting to pick up here as well, actually. Probably the windiest it's been, and this time Cairoli does go through on Siwa. Puts the squeeze on the Swiss Yamaha rider. What about the Salvo? He was 1.7 behind Herlings at the start of lap 4. Those two now separated by not a lot, well, 2.4, so it's been a good lap by Herlings. And Cairoli starting to eat into the number 6 of Ben Paturel. Fans on their feet every inch of the racetrack here, apart from this left-hander here. Tim Geiser, he's in 4th. He's already gone through, 7 seconds behind your race leader, Herlings. De Sal from Monster Energy Kawasaki is in 2nd. Then Fevre, Geiser, Paturel, Cairoli and Siwa. And this was Cairoli finding his way past the Swiss into 6th place just a moment ago. Just got better drive, was able to put the squeeze on the 91. Neatly scrubbing down the hill as well. Right, Herlings finally gets himself a good start, just like he did in qualifying. And that's what he said in the post-race interview yesterday. Ooh, a little bit long there, but fortunately the hills here quite forgiving in that respect. He just said he's been working hard the last 2 weeks. He knew as well from the first 3 rounds that the starts were his nemesis, the thorn in the side, that were giving him all the kind of problems that he didn't want. Whereas Cairoli, 5 foxhole shots out of the first 6 races, and this time it's Herlings with the first of the year. It's all about the psychological games. And the 222 of Cairoli knew that he had starts on his side, but the start letting him down here today. But he has to find his way past the number 6 of Benoit Paturel on that Marchetti Racing Team KTM. Clement de Salvo, the fastest rider on track this time around. Fastest lap of the race, more than a 10th quicker than Herlings. They're still about 2.2 seconds apart, though. Fevre, Geiser, Paturel, Cairoli, your top 6. The circuit really starting to dry out here and chop up and roughen up. Paturel, 6, goes to the inside. He is in 5th position. He's got the 9-time world champion, Antonio Cairoli, on the Red Bull KTM, breathing down his neck, not able to execute the pass there like he was 12 months ago, or like he was able to 12 months ago. Switching it up, goes to the inside this time around. Is he going to be close enough at the end of the straight? Will he find a way around the outside of the Frenchman? There's Coldenhoff just behind, almost riding shotgun, but look at that. Siwa just managing to hold on from the Dutchman as he splits the 2 KTMs, but yeah, he does. He takes him wide to the bank. Then you got Gauthier Paulin, Rockstar Energy Husqvarna coming into play as well. He is now in 9th place ahead of Julian Lieber on the Monster Energy Kawasaki, Sean Simpson, Maxime Dupre, and Max Nagel with Van Hoorbeek and Lupino now up to 15th. On the Geben van Venrooy Kawasaki. Crowd, atmosphere, everything in abundance here. Paturel looks across helplessly at Cairoli, thinks, okay, you're probably going to go through anyway. You're on top in terms of fitness and speed and all that kind of thing. Paturel here, just trying to work his way back into racing, having been off the bike all year. Right, clear track ahead of him. What can he do about the gap between himself and Herlings? The gap now is 17 seconds. That means he's 15 behind De Salle, 12 behind Fevre. But he does have clear track. Geiser is the next on his list, on his hit list, about 8 seconds further up the track. There's Paulin just wrestling with the rear wheel. He's found his way past Glenn Koldenoff to get himself up into 8th position, and immediately going after the 91 of Jeremy Seewer. The two almost come together in that bottom right hand at turn 7. Talking to Paulin the other day about this race and what he's been doing since the round in Spain a couple of weeks ago at Red Sand. And he said he was actually sick for the first few days, but he put in a hefty riding and training program leading into that free weekend off. Then there was a Dutch Championship, and then Wednesday he turned up to a place, Kleino in Germany, and he said it was like a GP practice track just over the border. He said everybody was there. There were 16 or so riders, GP riders there, including the KTMs of Koldenoff and Herlings, and he said it was just insane. Here's Fevre. He is in 3rd place on his Monster Energy Yamaha. He's due a podium. Hopefully he'll get one this weekend. He was on our studio show on Saturday on MXGP TV, so if you want to tune in and see that, then of course feel free to do so. But he hits the line now, lap 7 for him, with a time of 1:50.1, 6.5 seconds down on Jeffrey Herlings, but Clément de Salle is on the move. He's only 1.4 seconds behind Jeffrey Herlings, having posted a 1:48.4, half a second quicker than the race leader. How close was that between Seewer and Paulin? Paulin runs wide. Well, he thought about running wide, but Seewer had already decided to check up, I think. Looking good, though, is the 21 on that Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Just looking down the order here, Max Anstey, his teammate, looked a little bit out of sorts yesterday, but not out on the not out on track today in MXGP Race 1. But Paulin making up for that, goes past Benoit Paturel, who's just trying to adapt to the pace in 450 here in MXGP. So Paulin throws a leg as he gets cross-rutted in the background there over that Monster Energy jump. Paulin now up into, 7th place, 6th place? 6 now. And Seewer losing out to Koldenoff. Julian Lieber closing in the background on the Monster Energy Kawasaki, look. It's all a little bit quiet out on the hillside here at the moment. There is a Red Bull KTM leading the way, but not the one that the Italian fans would like to see. Of course, all the Dutch fans and all the neutrals that support different riders. A little bit different for them, but Seewer gets the jump along Koldenoff. Koldenoff, though, goes defensive into turn, the final turn, which is also turn 1. There's Lieber. He's right in it. So, too, is Simpson and Dupre. So we've got a whole bunch of riders. Look at them all coming through like a freight train. So we've got Herlings 1.5 seconds clear of Desal at the moment. Then we've got Fevre, Geiser, Cairoli. Then Paulin as Koldenoff down the inside of number 6, Benoit Paturel, pushes him down at 8th place. Then we've got Jeremy Seewer on the Yamaha in 9th, Lieber 10, Simpson 11, Dupre 12, Nagel 13, Van Horbeek. And they are all about a second apart, right the way down to Bobryshev in 16th place. Herling sets the fastest first sector of the race by a full second over Clement Desal this time around. He was about about 1.4 quicker in the second sector as well. So all of a sudden, looking good this lap for the number 84. Desal looks up, sees the orange flash disappearing beneath the bridge there at the end of the straight, launching downhill behind the pit lane area, then onto the start straight. Pretty much the start straight here, just on the left, but what's this lap going to be? That gap is no longer 1.4, is it? .6, so 1.2 gained that time around by your race leader over the 25 of Desal. Fevre, solid in third at the moment. Back markers starting to come into play. That was a 74 of Francesco Muratori. Mindful now of what's going on behind him because the race leader has gone through. Whereas Cairoli still about 15 seconds off the lead at the moment. So he has gained a couple, but there he is, bottom turn. Tim Geiser, next man on his sights, but Geiser wants to do well here because obviously he's got the Slovenian contingent turn up in their thousands. Not sure what the issues were. And that's Muratori going down in the wave section there. As Cairoli just got the back marker between himself and Geiser. He'll move to the left though. Just having a look down the leaderboard there, the 179 of Joaquin Poli, the Argentine MX1 national champion, riding as a wild card here outside of the points at the moment. But Herlings it is who continues to lead. Here's Geiser, and there's Cairoli. That gap looking like it's coming down all of a sudden. But then it might just be the camera playing tricks with us because, well, we'll see on the lap times this time around. Nice tight line to the inside there from the 222, but then maybe just loses out a little bit as he crests that turn. Geiser's time as he hits the line for the 10th time is a 150.2, a 49.6, and you can see it is coming down ever so slightly, 0.8 or 0.6 that time around. The fans on their feet there for this fella right here, Tim Geiser. We're at 11 minutes plus 2 to go, MXGP race 1. Herlings Desal, Fevre, Geiser, Cairoli, your top 5 with Paulin, Koldenoff, Seewer, Lieber, and Sean Simpson rounding out the top 10. Antonio Cairoli just under 11 minutes plus 2 to go. Didn't make a great start, lost a few positions in the early lap of the race. And he's been playing catch-up ever since he finds himself in 5th place on his Red Bull KTM. He's the second rider in shot here on the 222, the Red Bull KTM, giving chase to the man in yellow for Team HRC, Tim Geiser, 243. Geiser in 4th place. Short, sharp descents here at Trentino. Pietra Murata and Cairoli in trouble on the exit of the hill. Manages to rescue it though, but he's lost vital ground to Geiser this time around. A little bit of breathing space for the Slovenian and former MXGP world champ. See how Cairoli losing traction there as he got on the gas there on the downside of that short jump at the top of the hill. It's hard and slick here. It's choppy through the turns. The loose stones now really starting to come to the top. A little bit sandier here where they've added in dirt over the past 12 months or so. Back marker once again between Cairoli and Geiser. Takes a look over his shoulder. And it's the 31 of Luka Jankovic. Geiser just looking solid, just trying to pick up as many points as he can, riding through all the issues that he's had to put up with so far this year. Cairoli is starting to bear down on him once again, though, and looking to take 4th place away from the 243 in that limited edition Fox kit in his fan club colours. Tim Geiser, the red and the yellow. Up front, it's Herlings, 3.7 seconds clear now of Clement de Saux. Febvre is next, about another 6 seconds further back. 7 seconds clear of these guys. Geiser and Cairoli. Quick pull of the tear off. And maybe just a quick gulp of air there. Cairoli having another go with 8.5 minutes plus 2 to go. He would have looked ahead and seen Febvre maybe just a little bit too far down the track to do anything about that. Just watch as he gets on the gas here. No, a lap ago, we just saw the back end just breaking traction there as he got on the gas. Cairoli, but very good down here. Look at that line as well, landing, and it's all nice and smooth down to the inside. But will he? No. He's alongside Geiser. Geiser won't have any of that, though, will he? Nah, not a chance. He'll hold his line. He'll maintain his position. Oh, Geiser got a kick there as he came out of that final turn towards the finish line. Cairoli goes high and wide, and great bit of riding there right in front of the Geiser fans. That lights up the Italian crowd here. Never saw that one coming. He was about 3 bike lengths back as he hit the finish line, Cairoli, and all of a sudden he finds himself in 4th. Watch this here. He decided to commit, went to the outside, knew he had to rail that turn. Geiser was guided by the rut there, couldn't do anything about it. Mechanic non-fussed. It's the least he would expect. Here's his teammate, Jeffrey Herlings. He's now 5.5 seconds clear. He's put in a couple of good laps to move clear of the Monster Energy Kawasaki of Clement de Saux, the 16 of Nicola Recchia. Stays out of way. So the Italian rider on his Yamaha, making sure he is not interfering with play here. So far this year, Tony Cairoli and Jeffrey Herlings have taken 3 race wins, 3 second places. They arrived here tied on points. Cairoli with the red plate as championship leader, despite Herlings taking 2 Grand Prix victories to Tony's 1. But if it was to stay like this, then of course there'll be a little bit of daylight between them. "13 laps complete." Here's de Saux, 25 on the Monster Energy Kawasaki. In MX2 race 1, it was 19 laps, the duration. So we've got about another 6 to run, possibly. Good performance this from the Monster Energy Kawasaki of de Saux. Likewise for the Monster Energy Yamaha, 461, Romain Febvre. Oh, we're going to see him on the podium this weekend. We're going to see de Saux on the podium. It was interesting actually listening to Clement de Saux right at the start of the race, just before they disappeared on their sighting lap in his little pre-grid interview. Question was put to him about the 2 KTMs seemingly being on a bit of a different level than as a rider. You know, what did he make of that? But he said, well, the first 3 tracks have been sand or soft, so now it's hard pack. He knows what he can do, and so far he's showing it in the fact that he's 6 seconds down on the race leader, Jeffrey Hurlings, on one of those KTMs. 10 seconds behind Fevre here is Kai Rowley. He's broken free from Geiser after passing him a lap ago. Nicely done through there, though, for the 461, former champ. Body language is looking pretty good, actually. Looks like he might be interested in going after De Salle here in the next 5 minutes plus 2. Might need to rely on a couple of back markers as well. Back markers taking a look back. Know exactly what's going on here. They would have seen De Salle go through. That might play into the hands nicely of Romain Fevre, but as you can say, he gets one out of the way. There's 2 more sitting there waiting to be dispatched. Stefan Eckerhold, one of those, the number 85 on the Saarholz KTM. De Salle last time was a 50.4. Fevre was a 49.8. So again, just gradually inching closer to the Belgian. Both these guys solid, though. There's Hurlings in the opposite direction. His gap now around about, well, 7 seconds exactly. So he knows he's got a little bit of breathing space. 62, Clement Kircher. Moves out of the way, another Slovenian, not had to travel too far to get here this weekend. But be curious to know what the issues were with Kai Rowley at the start of the moto. Happened very early on, but definitely front end related. He was looking down at the front end as he came over these jumps here on the opening lap. And then, well, here's the replays of Kai Rowley going through, first of all, on Koldenhoff. Then Siwa. And then Benoit Paturel. And then Geiser, just a couple of laps ago, round the outside. This one got him in the 4th place. That's where the 222 still sits. Joaquin Poli from Argentina gives Kai Rowley plenty of room as he goes through. The next rider on the list there is, I think, the 15 of Davide Bonini on the number 15 machine. So Bonini, fellow Italian, will hopefully move out of the way. He does. Kai Rowley triples up into his turn, but he's now 19 seconds behind his teammate, the race leader, Hurlings. De Salle starting to get that back a little bit closer. 6 seconds now, 6.5 seconds between Hurlings and De Salle. Fevre still about 3 seconds further back. And then Kai Rowley here, lead rider in shot in black, looking like he's settled into that 4th place. Geiser 5th, Paulin is 6th for Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, Koldenhoff 7, Siwa is 8, Lieber 9, and Simpson 10. Van Horbeke 11, Maxime Dupre 12, Max Nagel 13, Lupino 14th, Kenny Bobashev is in 15th place. 16th for Aminas Jasikonis, Tano Leok 17, Strybos Monticelli, and Benoit Paturel has now faded down to 20th position. Understandable, really, given the fact that he's not been on a bike and it's his first Grand Prix of 2018. But it's Hurlings who continues to lead with a minute to go. Number 84, Jeffrey Hurlings, Red Bull KTM, done everything right so far in this first race at Trentino, the 4th round of the FIA Motocross World Championship here at Pietra Marata. Pulled a Fox hole shot and has led every single one of the 16 laps that he's done at the moment. He's on lap 17. He's got a gap of about 6.5 seconds over the Monster Energy Kawasaki of Clement De Salle, who's working his way towards us any moment now. Romain Fevre is next on the Monster Energy Yamaha, then Kai Rowley and Geiser rounding out the top 5. Geiser, of course, for HRC Honda. Paulin is about 10 seconds behind the Slovenian on his Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. And then we got Koldenhoff, Seewer, Lieber and Simpson. In fact, Simpson has just been passed by Jeremy Van Horebeke. So the Monster Energy Yamaha going past the Wilvo Yamaha on lap 17. And Dupre is only about a second further back. So Simpson might just need to be mindful that the French rider is there getting ready to pounce on his Geben van Venrooy Kawasaki. Fevre was a 50.1, 6 tenths quicker than Dessau last time around. Here is Dessau, and there is Fevre. So the 25 can't afford to relax. Gap looks like it's 2.5, 3 seconds still, but give him half a sniff. The Frenchman might be in, ready to pounce. We're on the final 3 laps. Herlings has already gone through, or is about to go through. 2 to go. Fevre fell in that turn in the free practice yesterday, the one prior to the finish turn. Looking like that was a good lap for Fevre, a 49.5 compared to the 50. So again, another half a second between him and Dessau. There is Dessau on the iPhone jump. So is he timing this one to perfection, Romain Fevre, or is he going to just run out of time? There's Herlings in the opposite direction, your leader. Oh, that bank doesn't look very inviting, does it? But the further that rut moves out that way, the more you're asking for it. But this might be the battle in the closing stages. A lap and a half to go. Is he going to get close enough, Romain Fevre? Or will Dessau just turn the screw and turn up the wick a little bit and hang on to that second place? Dessau has already been third twice. That was at the opening round where he was third overall. He was third overall with a pair of fourth place finishes at Red Sand the last time out. Romain Fevre missed out. Those two tied on points actually in Red Sand. But another good opening moto for the Frenchman. Looking at the splits here, 28.6 Dessau, 28.3. 25.9, 26.0, so 24.5, 24.7, so yeah, it's probably about the same. Depends what happens now. There's Alessandro Puzar in the yellow and blue hat, former 2-time world champ. So into the final lap. Herlings is already through, 7 seconds clear, and nothing in it now between Dessau and Fevre. It was a 49.1. For the Kawasaki rider here, number 25, but Fevre went through 7 tenths quicker. He may have just left his charge too late, though. And there is Herlings out of the way. As we said, done everything perfectly so far. Oh, a slight mistake there from Fevre, though, as he exits that very tight turn 7, the right-hander that launches back up onto this plateau before plunging down towards the Monster Energy tabletop, right in front of the rig there. And then this little step up. They turn right, head out towards turn 10, then start making their way back towards the start and finish area. Those waves now just starting to chew up right on the takeoff. But I think Dessau may just do enough here to hang on to that second position. Cairoli about 15 seconds behind Romain Fevre in 4th, Tim Geiser 5th, Paulin 6th, Koldenhoff, Seewer, Lieber and Van Horebeke. They're your top 10. Simpson still hanging on to that 11th place from Maxime Dupre, and Max Nagel not too far away either in 13th place. Pace all very, very similar for all those guys out on the racetrack at the moment. But Jeffrey Herlings launching downhill for the final time. Quick acknowledgement to the crew there, possibly to say, you know what, the work has paid off. We finally got the start, and if I told you I'd get the start, I'd go on and win, and that's exactly what Jeffrey Herlings does here. Lays it down over the finish line, takes victory for the first time on his Red Bull KTM here in Moto number 1. Can he do it again a little later in race 2? And that is now 4 race wins for Jeffrey Hurlings. Of course, he takes over the lead outright in the championship as we head into Moto number 2. And he will do so by about 7 points because he'll be on 166. Cairoli will be on 159. He comes over the line now, very dejected, very disappointed in 4th place. Almost an apologetic acknowledgement to the crowd there, but he will go back to the drawing board for race 2. But it's teammate Hurlings who is in pole position ahead of that race that we will see a little later on, of course. But it's Hurlings who wins. De Sal 2nd, Febvre 3rd, Cairoli, Geiser, Paulin, Koldenhoff, Siewert, Lieber, Van Hoorbeek. Here's your winner, Jeffrey Hurlings. Let's hear what the bullet has to say to Lisa Leyland. He's getting ready to speak to our number 84 Red Bull KTM rider.
Jeffrey Hurlings, congratulations. A difficult track to pass out there. You really do need a good start, and you managed to get the foxhole shot, and you did pretty much everything right.
Yeah, that was awesome. I just had it on the right moment, you know, like this is one of the most difficult tracks to pass on, and to take a hole shot now, man, gotta thank God for that one. So hopefully second motor, get another flyer like that, and then we hopefully be solid. So did a good moto, very happy with it. Gotta give it up to Red Bull KTM race team. They did a great job. So looking forward to second moto and try to get another good start like that, and it would be a dream come true to come out here on top.
Good luck for the second race. Thanks, Jeffrey.
It would be like a dream come true to come out of here on top. Well, rule number 1, beat your teammate. Number 2, if you're going to beat him, try and beat him at home. Well, that's exactly what he's done in Moto number 1. So far, so good for the 84 of Hurlings. He wins by 5.6 seconds over Clément de Sal on the Monster Energy Kawasaki, and Romain Febvre about 7 seconds further back in the end. Realised the charge was just going to be too much. But it's Hurlings who goes into the quick break with the 25-point win and the championship lead. Official confirmation then. Jeffrey Hurlings, Red Bull KTM, wins MXGP Race 1 here, the 4th round of the FIA Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Trentino. Monster Energy Kawasaki of Clément de Sal 2nd, ahead of the Monster Energy Yamaha of Romain Febvre 3rd, Cairoli 4th, HRC Honda's Geiser was 5th, the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna of Gauthier Paulin was 6th, Koldenhoff 7th, Siewert 8th on the Wilbo Yamaha, 9th for Julian Lieber and 10th for Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. Sean Simpson was 11th, the Gavin Van Venrooy Kawasaki of Maxime Dupre was 12th, TM's Max Nagel 13, Lupino 14, Boss Project Evgeny Bobryshev was 15, ahead of the A1M Husky of Tano Leok, Honda Red Motor Asamoto of Jasikonis, Kevin Strybos on the standing construct KTM, then Monticelli, then Petrov. There's the gap. It's all changed at the top, but for how much longer? We'll have to wait and see. But Hurlings 7 points clear, sorry, 5 points clear of Tony Cairoli. Gate dropped. There's a little bit of bar banging going on. It was Hurlings, though, who just nudged aside Romain Febvre to go and get the foxhole shot for the first time this year. De Sal was right there, so too was Romain Febvre, but Febvre quickly made a mistake and was soon passed by the 25 of Clément de Sal. Tim Geiser was right there in 4th place. Cairoli was in 5th, but then started losing ground early on, started looking down at the front end. That was De Sal making a move early on the Frenchman, Febvre, to get himself in the 2nd, and that's where he would stay. Kept Hurlings honest for a little while, though. Cairoli, once it decided that the front end issues weren't that much of a problem, decided to get his head down and just battle on. He made that move on his teammate Glenn Koldenhoff, then set up a chase on the Wilbo Yamaha of Jeremy Siewert. Siewert knew that he was there but couldn't get across the Italian. So Cairoli was up another position. Then he went after Benoit Paturel. I think that put him into 5th place. And then after that, it was the 2:43 of Tim Geiser made the move on the Slovenian right in front of his home fans, Geiser's fans, that is. That put him fourth, but then he would not advance further than that. Romain Febvre was third and looked like he was closing in on the Kawasaki, the 25 of Clément de Saux, but again, wasn't able to do anything about the Belgian. And in the end, just one or two little mistakes in the closing stages saw his pace drop off, and he was happy to pick up a top 3 finish in race 1. But no one was a match for Jeffrey Herlings, though. He came home about 6 seconds clear of Clément de Saux. Herlings, your winner in moto number 1. De Saux, Febvre, Cairoli and Geiser, your top 5. And as a result of that, 7 points separate the top 2 riders going into moto number 2, and it's Jeffrey Herlings who leads. And he took his first foxhole shot of the year, look. Bike length between him and de Saux. Perfect race for Jeffrey Herlings in moto number 1. But his teammate still heads that classification. He's taken 5 so far. Right, a little bit of party atmosphere going on around the circuit here at Trentino. We'll take a quick look at the best moments over from MXGP Race 1. Some of the best moments from MXGP Race 1. We're almost out of time here, so make sure you come back in an hour when we do it all again. MX2 Race 2, followed by MXGP Race 2. We'll see you then. Bye for now.